Welcome back to the Daddyless Daughters Podcast in partnership with Solace Womens Aid. I go by the name of Aliyah Ali, and today I'm joined by the phenomenal Kathleen.
What's happening, babe?
Thank you for being here.
No problem, my gorgeous.
How are you feeling today?
I'm good.
Yes?
I'm good.
Well, I'm very grateful for you joining me. We have a long history.
Yes,
You've
we
known
do.
me most of my life.
Yes.
But there's still things about you that I'm curious about. Like, you're like my sister's generation. You come up with like my older sister and her peers and stuff. So I'm really excited to kind of get into your Daddyless Daughter journey.
No problem.
The viewers already know the concept is dirty water.
Yeah.
It's about the patterns that have trickled down in our family bloodlines and how have we broken those patterns going on to either parent other children or parent ourselves, essentially. So my first question for you today is, what age did you realise you was a daddyless daughter?
I would say 14. 14, yeah. 14.
What
age.
Was it like one single event that made you realise?
It started off first as one, and then it just went ongoing, spiralling, and I was just like, okay.
And I know that age is very chaotic for many daddyless daughters. So let's go back. Let's give some backstory.
Yes.
How did you grow? What was your family dynamic like?
Okay, well, I'm the younger to 6. Born here. Mum and dad, it was like my household was like a Cosby show. Everything was perfect. And then, my mum took me and my sister to Jamaica to live for about 5 years. And that's when my life kind of like spiraled.
How old was you when you went?
9.
Right.
Yeah, and then I came back at 14. But living out there was, it was just a bit much.
And your dad didn't go with you guys?
No, my dad didn't come. He didn't come. He stayed home with my other siblings. I missed him a lot when I was out there.
Yeah.
I did.
What was that separation like, and why did she choose to take just 2 of you?
The separation was hard, confusing. My mum took us out there because she's a missionary worker. So she took on young boys off the street and little charity, and she got them, about 21 of them. We were living with them.
Oh, God bless
And just helping them out and stuff and trying to keep them out of trouble. But that didn't last for long. So being out there, being robbed 7 times out there was just a bit much.
Wow.
So last time was gunpoint, and these times it was done by the members of the community and the so-called boys that we were actually looking after. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was just a bit like, okay. So we had to come back home.
And then you came back age 14?
And came back age 14, and that's when me and my daddy issue started.
Okay, well, let's get into it.
Yeah.
It's going to be deep, but what was it? What was the first event that kind of happened that made you realise
Well, coming back, I needed some type of income, money, something. My dad wasn't giving me anything. I was like, child benefit, it was collecting everything. And I just didn't understand what was going on. So at that age, young girl going into their periods and all that other stuff. So I needed things to buy. So I had to go look for a job. Found out, got a job. Dad told my dad, he's like, well, you got a job? Can pay rent now. So that was a bit confusing to me. I was like, I'm 14, why am I paying rent? Yeah, and then I found out that my dad was like, oh, in rent arrears. There was no rent arrears. So he was just taking the money for himself, which I just, it burnt me. But, you move on. Move on. So, that was the start. So he was collecting money from me at the age of 14, and that was not good at all. Then, he trickled on from there. We're just having fights all the time in the house, arguing all the time. Yes.
Where did the first feelings of resentment come from towards him?
It came from me paying rent. Me paying rent. Him not being there for me. He was just talking down to me all the time. It wasn't nothing positive he was putting into me. He says it was, but it wasn't positive at all. So it was just upsetting, heartbreaking, knowing that man was the love of my life. Because, your dad's your first love as a young girl. So I was looking for love. I was looking for it. Didn't get it. Didn't get it at all. So that was heartbreaking for me. Yeah. So I remember Christmas Day, I cooked and everything for my family and everything, well, whoever was living in the house at the time. And yeah, I got into a little argument with my sister, and it turned physical, which then turned into my dad kicking me out the house on Christmas Day. So I ended up living in Burgess Park for about 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. My house was there, Burgess Park was right there.
And Burgess Park was quite dangerous back then as well.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, God was watching over me.
And you stayed there for 2 weeks?
2 weeks. I had to run to my friend's house, hide under her bed sometimes, go and have a shower. But her mum found out what was happening, so yeah. So that was another...
Yeah. Was there anybody that you could talk to about how you was feeling at that age?
At the time, no. But then I came across... My sister was a youth worker at the time. And I just felt like I needed my sister too. So she was busy being more of a youth worker than my sister. But she worked for a company called Kickstart at that time. And they had a lot of young youth workers there. So
yeah, big up Kickstart. They did a lot for me and my
said,
teams.
come on now.
Yeah.
So, I confided in some of the young people there. I don't know if we're allowed to say names. But, they helped me out, gave me advice and stuff. And then I found the counselling through them. And that's what I was doing. I was going counselling. Counselling was helping me a lot. What
would you say was your first experience of depression?
My first experience of depression when I was in Jamaica.
Right. So you say you noticed that you started feeling depressed from about the age of 9?
Yeah, from the age of 9, from the age of 9 I started feeling depression. I tried to commit suicide.
Wow.
Not even tried, I committed suicide. I didn't, obviously, I'm aware. My first attempt, it was I think I was about 12, 13. I did that for attention because my mum was busy looking after those kids and not focusing on her own, which was another issue that I was going through on top of me, not having my dad around as well. So, I remember doing that and then I did it again. But the way my mum dealt with it was heartbreaking.
How did she deal with it?
So I tried to swallow her pills, heart pills, and she punched me in my face.
Wow.
Punched me in my face. And that still scarred me till today, okay. And then I remember the second time I put a belt around my neck and I tried to hang myself. And didn't know where to put the thing to hang it. So I fell asleep on the bed with the belt around my neck. My mum came in, oh my God, my daughter dead, oh Lord Jesus. She started screaming, realised I weren't, and then she took the belt off my neck and beat me with the belt.
Wow.
So yeah, then I was just like, okay.
Was there a lot of physical abuse growing up?
I wouldn't say physical abuse, I wouldn't call that physical, I call it beating.
Why do you call it beating
because
and not physical abuse?
Because it's beating. I don't call it physical abuse.
I got a problem with that.
Back then, I know. Back then, I didn't see it as physical abuse, but as you get older, you realise it actually is. But back then, it was beating, and you get beat.
Do you think that that's a part of our dirty water within our community?
That is. Something that, as a mother that I am now, I really don't like doing. I hate doing it. If I have to, you get a little child, little nut, but I don't like doing it. I'd rather speak to them, find out what's going on first, really.
Because it's important, because I feel like it's how, if us as adults are trying to teach children how to regulate their emotions, right? And how to communicate and all these skills that they're going to need in life anyway, why do we lash out and think it's okay to beat up a child who definitely can't defend themselves?
I don't know, but I know now as an adult that stemmed from slavery. That beating stuff stems straight from slavery. You can't be beating up babies like that for no reason. You know what I mean?
Have you ever had a conversation with your mum about those?
I have, and she cried, and she'd realised that she's done wrong, and we forgive and we move on. Yeah. I love my mum to bits. Yeah. Love her to bits. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. At least because my mum's 75 now, so she's old-fashioned, so she understands because she obviously had her own issues going on from her young childhood, and it's stemming through there. So that's a cycle that it kept going on. So me now, I'm just trying to break that, that cycle, because I don't need it right now in my life like that.
Of course.
At all.
So you wouldn't say at that age, would you say that you was suicidal, or that you just had those episodes where it was you felt overwhelmed with like emotion and you just had to do something about that emotion in that moment?
I'd say a mixture.
Right.
Mixture. What I do remember is I was very suicidal. Very suicidal. I tried to commit suicide 7 times.
7 times?
7 times. 7 times. And thank God I'm still here. I don't know how I ain't dead. How I ain't dead. But yeah, my dad is the main cause of me having issues around men, which it goes into, if that makes sense.
So obviously now you're on the streets, yeah, age 14, and we know what comes with that. If you've been a young girl who's out here from the age of 13, 14 or whatever, you know what kind of...
Exactly. So with me now,
Yeah.
I was a good girl. I would say I was a good girl, go church and stuff. I was caught up in church and then I got drifted away like from church and ended up in a gang. So when I was in that gang, you find your family through that, you know.
Belonging.
And yeah, I didn't do anything sexual, I would say, at them young ages because I was scared.
Was you violent at that age?
I was violent. I would do things to people, beat them up, rob them, do all sorts of stuff. I was a naughty little girl because I don't know why. Maybe because I didn't have any guidance because my mum was still in Jamaica. My dad didn't care about me. Didn't care if I had a curfew or whatever. But I made myself have curfew. I, disciplined myself in a way. But yet I was still naughty, doing things because I didn't have any guidance.
What's happening with your housing situation at this age?
These times, I ended up living in a hostel. So, yeah, I would live in a hostel for about a year and a half. That was an experience of my lifetime.
Yeah.
Ended up living with all sorts of people.
Yeah.
Drug addicts, prostitutes, alcoholics, young girls who are going through, the same issue that I'm going through. Yeah. So I was exposed to that, but when I was living in that hostel, I don't know, I was like the person to look up to in that hostel. So everyone came knocking on my door, didn't know how to cook, they didn't have an ironing board, didn't have an iron, they didn't do this, didn't know anything. So they would come and knock on my door, and I would end up doing like cooking classes for them in the hostel and stuff like that. And it looked, it looked good. I enjoyed it. I felt like I was wanted. So it was good. It was a good thing. It was a good thing, but a bad thing at the same time.
Yeah. What other things did you get yourself into?
Yeah, so I ended up in a relationship with my daughter's dad. 10 years? I was in a relationship with him. It was a very abusive relationship. It started off verbally, then mentally, then physically. As soon as I had my daughter, that's when it became physical and I started working and doing stuff for myself. He didn't like it, so he started beating me. And then it turned into financially, don't want to give me no money, don't know. So yeah, that all stemmed from I'm looking for, I need that love, I need that attention from a man. And I found it in this little short poopsie boy.
Yeah.
So, sorry.
Yes.
So yeah, so that was another thing. So, which I feel now is trickling down onto my daughter now because of that whole domestic violence, daddyless. She can't see her dad right now, which is another thing I don't really want to get into. But she, it's hard.
Of course, the impact of that it's beyond you.
Beyond me.
And especially when you're going through abuse, like when you're pregnant as well, this is when it becomes like trauma is a part of this baby's DNA now, because your distress goes on to her. Everything that you're feeling emotionally is passed on to the child. So sometimes a lot of her, whatever behaviour she's displaying right now, it could be so deep-rooted that it's biological. And we know that there's not a lot of resources or help around.
There's not these days, especially like Kickstart, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
There's no youth club and stuff like that. But my daughter's actually going to one now. She started going, which she found a little boxing class thing that she goes to, which I like. She's doing stuff. But yeah, she mentally, it's affected her. She remembers things. She remembers things, what's happened. And it's not good. Because she's seen her dad being physical with her mum.
Mm.
And, you know, like on Mother's Day, he tried to kill me in front of her in her bedroom. And she gets nightmares, I get nightmares because we're still in that same household and we need to get out of that because the memories are just ridiculous. So she's going through that whole, and we share that kind of like bond of that daddy issue sort of thing. So yeah, we talk. You know, make sure she had her counselling sessions. And, you know, that's the same thing I had to go through. I had to have my counselling sessions in order to get through this thing right now. You know, because like you said, it's dirty water.
Yeah.
And with this dirty water, I want to cleanse it.
Yeah.
I really need to cleanse it because I've got 3 more other kids and I don't want them to dip into that water, even though I've got an amazing husband right now. But yeah.
Of course. Did you, when you was going through this 10-year relationship and stuff, did you, like, at what point did you come to the realization that, you know, like, I need to leave, basically, but you can't?
I think that was when I started college. And he didn't like the fact that I was building myself up. And I remember this line he said to me. He said, I don't want you, but I don't want no one else to have you. So when he said that, I was like, what? Hold on. You can have all these other females who cheat on me like, you know, non-stop. But I didn't understand why. Because, like, look at me now. You know, but even though then, he made me feel ugly. I really felt ugly about myself. That's another thing, insecurity within yourself and stuff like that. He used to call me fat and all sorts of things because he used to go gym and stuff and he thinks, you know, that he was like some muscly. But yeah, it was just to build up his little shortness. You know, little man syndrome, Napoleon disease. Yeah, that's what he's dealing with. So now I know that's what he was dealing with.
Yeah.
Why he would throw his negative stuff
Project
onto me,
it
onto me, but I would just project it right back onto him, innit?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
But you know what it is, like, when you find these situations, it doesn't matter, like, if you're going through abuse, like, in your household through your childhood years or in a relationship once you leave the household or whatever, you start to believe all these labels and all these things that people say you are, or that, you know, people are saying when they're verbally abusing you or whatever. You start to adopt that behavior. Sometimes, you know, you start to really take it on as a persona. Was that the case for you?
Well, yeah. He used to say to me, you're what less, all you do is you don't benefits, you're fat, you're ugly. Yeah, he used to say these things to me and I believed him. I believed him, but it's when I had to take, after leaving him, like, literally, like, I'm done with him, no more going back. I kept going back like a yo-yo. And I was like, that's it, I'm done. So I had to take 2 years out. I took 2 years out to myself and to get to know who I am, love myself again, you know, go gym. And I started my locks journey. I started, like, eating healthy and stuff like that. And yeah, so since I started doing that, that's when I realised, hold on, what are you talking about? I'm hot. I'm intelligent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've got my BAs, Hons, you know? You know?
Yeah.
I graduated at college as well. I've achieved a lot. Who are you to tell me who I am? Do you know what I mean? So that's the mentality I had to take up on myself, and then I had to, like, do these affirmations every day and just tell myself, you're beautiful. You're wonderful. And I keep telling myself that and remind myself who I am. Because I can't let another man tell me I'm nothing. I already heard it from my dad. And I had to hear it from another guy that I thought, you know, was my knight in shining armour at the time. So, yeah.
Would you say that the relationship that you had with your dad set the foundation to be abused by men?
Mentally, yeah. Mentally, yeah. The physical part was a shocker for me because I didn't think I would actually be in that position because I'm a person, I'm a fighter. So I wouldn't say, like, the domestic abuse, physical domestic abuse, I would lay there and get lick. We would rock. So it was a different type of abuse, if that makes sense.
It's not, though, because still in that moment when you feel a threat, it's like if you're in the jungle, innit, you either fight or you fly or you freeze. And those are just our human instincts anyway. So if your default system says fight when you're being attacked.
I'm fighting. But with him, he would attack me when I'm vulnerable.
Yeah.
So he would do it at a time where he knows I can't really fight back to the ability that he knows, because we was both in the same gang.
That's interesting.
We were both, he was in the boy part and I was in the girl part. So when he needed a girl beat up, he would call me in it. So I'm thinking, why are you fighting with someone that you know that can block you up? So so the first time he put his hand on me was as soon as I gave birth to our daughter.
Right.
So we came home. I wanted to go home to my home. He wouldn't allow me to go home to my home. He took me back to his house. House was dirty. And I was like, you can't have a child here. My house was spotless, bleached out, disinfected out, ready for a newborn. No, he weren't hearing it. Got mad with me and beat me up, threw me out the house, threw everything on top of me. Never forget it. Suitcase, baby bath, car, seat, everything. And then held my daughter and said, you're not giving up my daughter. So the police came and you had to give up my child. Yeah, so I bust a couple, these time I had a C-section. So I bust a couple of my stitches open and everything.
Wow.
So yeah. So it was just mad. It was mad.
I understand the journey of like reconditioning yourself and having to reprogram and do the affirmations and then get the physical side of things in alignment and stuff. But like, how do you live with that PTSD? Because I know it's a lot deeper than that as well.
Well, I have to like thingy with other things, you know, mum herbs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but that's what I do to control.
Did you ever self-medicate throughout all of these layers? Yeah.
I did. But there was a point where I was doing it way too much and I was smoking the wrong thing as well. And I ended up in Maudsley. Yeah.
Elaborate.
So I was just when I was living in a hostel. So I was hearing voices. A lot of voices, could do this, you're not supposed to be here, you're ugly, no one don't want you, no one don't love you. So I was hearing all these voices. And I would, and I kept smoking more, smoking like £50 a day. Smoking, getting the money from really naughty ways. Don't want to say it. But and I was just smoking and it weren't doing nothing. I was hearing voices and smoking, hearing voices. And at the time, I tried to top myself with some pills. Ended up in the hospital in Maudsley, should I say, where they admitted me. And they were like, oh, we're going to keep you. And I was like, no. They gave me medication. I was like, I'm not taking it. Not keeping me here. Not happening. So I convinced them I'm fine. And I was fine. I think it was the environment that I was in that was making things worse for me. I just kept saying I need to get out of this hostel. I was supposed to be in there like 6 months. It ended up being a year and a half.
Yeah. I think about that a lot, because obviously I speak to a lot of girls that end up in care.
Yeah.
But then I know there's a whole group of us, okay, that we're not eligible to go into care, but then you're not, your situation at home is not safe either, and they become like, I don't want to say street girls, but they there's a whole gap that's missing for those girls, and a lot of the times their lives are hard, man. They literally have to figure out how to survive on here, and then, like I said, they get exposed to like environments where pimps and predators want to teach them how to survive.
I just feel like with me, thank God, I feel like God was watching me. No, I feel like he was watching me because I was still working. Going through all that stuff from a young age. I had like 2 or 3 jobs. I was still working. So I kept that mentality of I need to have money, I need to have my own money. So yes, I was doing other things, but I still had my job. I still had my money. I didn't really want to be in that. Because I've seen the boys that I used to roll with do that stuff.
Yeah.
Pimp girls out and do them things. And I was like, nah, that ain't me.
Yeah.
That ain't me. Because I broke my virginity at 18. 18 I did. So I was scared. Scared of things. Scared of the men things.
Yeah.
Scared of that. So I was just like, nah.
Where was your safe place growing up?
Didn't have one.
You didn't have one. What age was you when you found a safe place? Because it's hard as well, especially when like, okay, you do get to a stage. Was it 1 minute? You know when you get to a stage where, okay, now you have your own house and stuff like that. But then if a man comes into your house and violates your home situation, it's kind of like that only one safe space that you finally got to has also been ripped from you. So when you say 27, where was it?
I was at home. I had my own place.
Yeah.
My one bedroom flat at the time. That was my safe place, but it weren't safe. But I don't really have a safe. My safe place is my daughter at the time. I didn't have I've never had a safe place. It was my daughter. I was just holding her. I didn't really have one, to be honest. Thinking about it now, you said that to me.
Yeah.
Even now, like my home, my 2-bedroom that I'm in now is just hard. That safe place is gone. That's supposed to have been my safe place from moving from that 1-bedroom to the 2-bedroom, my daughter. Because, getting away from that, but he brought that in there too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, didn't really have one.
Was there any, like, projects or anything that you knew locally that, like, helped you when you was going through this?
Yeah. Well, where I started working for a certain organisation, it was charity mainly. I wasn't getting paid for it. So I was working for a company, mentoring lab company, and I was mentoring other people. And I felt like mentoring other people was like helping me speak what I was holding in. So letting it all out, helping other people was actually helping other people at the same time, which was rewarding for me. So that was like the type of project like helping. It was nice. It was a nice feeling. Because I really felt worthless. I felt like I was nobody out there. That's how that individual made me feel.
I think I felt a lot like that growing up, and I think that's why I started like selling drugs and making myself useful to other people, because that was a way that I built up my sense of self-worth and self-esteem. And sometimes I do reflect and I think I'm still doing the same thing but in a different kind of way, maybe in more of a positive way.
Yes.
But still, is that a healthy formula? Is that a healthy method? Because now what I find is it's very easy for me to put on that strong armor and that persona, but even on days where I don't feel strong.
You see, I hear you. There's one thing my mum used to tell me: no matter how much you're going through or how much money you got, always look your best. Because from you look your best, you feel good, and you'll get compliments when you walk straight. People, oh, you look nice. But deep down, they don't know what's going on with you.
Yeah.
They don't know, because the person could be like, for me, I went through depression, anxiety, still going through it. I'm going through postnatal depression. Do you know what I mean? Like, I just had a baby, my baby, 8 months now. So I'm going through all of these things, but when people see me, they think, oh, you're looking so well. You don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. Deep down, I've got the biggest smile on the outside, but deep down, I'm, yeah. But I just take each day as it is, and work from that.
Who do you allow to see those vulnerable parts of you?
I don't allow no one. It's whoever's in my household. So I don't really call nobody. I hardly do. My friend, why didn't you call me? And I'm just like, I keep it to myself. But my husband sees it, which I feel like he does not understand me too much. I think it's because of the culture. Him being Nigerian, full on. So he don't really understand this whole mental health situation. And I think the only person that's really seen me that vulnerable is my daughter. She's 12 now. So she's seen me at my lowest, and she's seen me at my highest. And I don't like her seeing me like that, because I feel like it's projecting onto her.
Yeah.
Which it has. And heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking seeing my daughter go through that, because she's actually tried to do things to herself, harm herself. And when I found that out, I was just like, no, my baby girl. No, my baby girl. And when I spoke to her and found out why she did it, daddy issues.
Yeah.
She wants to see her dad, but then she doesn't want to see him, if that makes sense, because of what he did.
Yeah.
But she misses him.
And it's conflicting as well. Like I had so many feelings of like betrayal. Like, would I be betraying like my mum if I still have that need of like wanting to know who my dad is and all those type of things?
That's
and then
what she said.
Yeah, you feel like it's wrong, and then you feel a sense of shame, because then it's like, oh, but your basic needs as a child is like, I want a relationship with my dad. Now you feel shameful about those feelings, because it's like, but he did certain things to my mum that's like, do you know what I mean? Criminal.
Because she felt like it was her fault.
Yeah.
She felt like all the stuff that went on was her fault. I kept telling her, it's not your fault, baby girl. It's not your fault. It's got nothing to do with you. He's got his own issues. I had to sit down and break it down to... My child's grown. She got like a adult mind now. So I had to sit down and let her know, Daddy's got his issues. Let him deal with it. You can't help him. Yeah? I can't help him.
Yeah.
You can't change him. I can't change him. He can change himself if he wants to change. So we just leave him. I said, this is the period for him to grow and to realise what he's done. Because all she wanted for him to say, sorry, Dad, Mummy. He wants him to say to me, sorry for what he's done. Acknowledge what he's done and say sorry, but he's not going to do that. So I just said, look, this is the time. I had to go to court, get all that non-molestation order and all that stuff. He can't see her.
Wow. So was she involved in that process as well? The court and that, yeah.
That was another thing. It was just a lot. It was a lot. And this all was like, what, 2 years ago? 2-3 years ago? So, yeah, it's something I'm battling with on a daily basis with my little one, or my daughter, should I say. But I'm just hoping and praying. I'm scared when it's time for her to see him. What's going to happen? What is the results? The ending results to that?
Because it's like she's probably at like the second or third stage of this grieving process, I would say, from transitioning from living in an abusive household to things being quite calm and safe right now. And then when she does come into contact with him again, that's going to all resurface and probably re-trigger her.
I don't want her to see him because it's going to bring up back what I've been through, because I still ain't dealt with the fact that you beat me and I'm pregnant with my husband's kids.
Wow.
And that my son got a disability from what you've done to me. So when I see him, if I do see him, I want to do things in my head, but I know I'm not going to do that. So I just leave it to God. I just left everything in God's hand. That's all I can do right now. Just leave it all in God's hand. That's the only thing I can do right now. But, yeah.
It's hard, man. And I think, for me, I know that there's a lot of work going on in different communities around, like, you know, women that are in domestic violence situations and stuff. But I really feel like the daughters of domestic violence get left out of the conversation lot. And they're experiencing trauma as well. And there's not enough of like intervention and prevention work around
there isn't
having those conversations of the daughters of domestic violence, because if it messes with your perception of life, full stop. But nobody's not doing much work with them.
They're not. Because when my daughter first experienced it, we went to Solace.
Okay.
We went to Solace, which are amazing. So she had child therapy through that.
Yes.
Like age of 4.
Wow.
And I had my counselling with them as well. And they helped us out with so many things. They gave us stuff.
Yeah.
You know, helped out with groceries and things. They were just so good. So good. And it was just hard where I had to contact them back again to tell them, oh, look, it's still happening, but I'm not with him, but he's still doing this. And it was just... It was just a bit heartbreaking knowing that my child has to go through all of this. My child has to go through all of this. So, yeah, she had a little counselling session with them. But there isn't enough organisations out there. There is not enough out there. And I don't think they should leave it on the parent to just...
deal with that.
You know, imagine this, having to listen to your child say things that you're having to deal with yourself mentally, and you're like, oh my God, you're struggling with it, but then you have to listen to your own daughter. It was just a bit mad. It was just a bit mad. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I can't help someone when I need help. So I need someone else to take this on while I sort myself out.
Yeah.
Mentally. So that's what it is. That's what I had to, deal with right now.
Have you guys had any joint therapy yet?
Yeah, we did. We did. We had joint therapy through, is it CAMS?
CAMS, yeah.
CAMS.
Oh, that's good.
But pandemic and everything messed it all up.
Yeah.
But and that That was another thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole nother process or system, should we say, that needs to be corrected.
So that messed up everything. But yeah, camp was good. It was really good. We had a joint therapy, which included my husband into it as well.
Okay.
So yeah, it was good. And that's where my daughter got to express how she felt about her dad at this age. And the words that she was using, I didn't understand none of them. I had to get the dictionary out. I was like, damn, you make mommy feel dirt. So, yeah, she was using some really big words and describing her dad. And I'm just like, because he used to put that in her head. Oh, your mum, she's poisoning you. She's poisoning you. She's saying all these things. I said, me? Say these things. I don't even know what these words means. So, yeah, and she had a family. So we had a family support worker as well, which also, she was amazing. So, yeah, we had little bits, jips and jabs of help here and there. But I feel like if you don't speak out and ask for the help, you ain't going to get it. Or you're not going to know about it.
And sometimes as well, you can speak out and ask for it, but not actually be ready for the intensity of what it is. So you tap in and you're not ready, so you kind of withdraw. Yeah. And they don't give you as much like leeway to do that. Because anybody who's like struggling with their mental health or struggling with any sort of diagnosis or whatever, to be consistent, to consistently show up for yourself is hard. Very hard.
Very, very, very hard. Very hard. But I'm just happy my daughter, not even, because I know not most kids ain't like, who don't have parents or mums like that, strong-minded. She's very strong-minded. I built her that way. So I am like that. I expect her to be like that. Just like, you can do this. That's my word in my house. Let's do this. We can do it. Let's do this. Let's do this. We can do it. So she can do it. She's doing it. She has been doing it. So, you know, she had a little counselling at school and stuff like that. It helps. And then she told me she's got a mentor at school now. So I like that sort of intervention in school. When I hear these things, I'm like, yes, I like that. Yeah. I like that. Because my child, she is so intelligent. She gets awards every week for something. So, you know, I like that. I like that. But she's made me see things. When she's told me stuff about her dad, like what he used to say to her verbally, call her stupid, you know, and dunce, just because she knows the lyrics to a Cardi B song. Oh, you know the lyrics? Do you know your timetable? No, you don't. And all them things there, it's just like...
Yeah.
When I heard these things, I said, you did what? But she's the brightest in her maths class. She's the brightest in her English class. I don't get it. So, yeah, because I'm embedded in her. I'm, you know, invested in my child. You know, she's got a tutor. She does things. So it's just like, if you're not investing in your child, don't give, don't talk, don't say anything about it. That's my thing. Don't give your little 2 pence towards rearing her when you're not doing nothing yourself.
Of course, yeah.
Financially, mentally, physically, you're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
But my baby, she don't see that. She just sees her dad as her dad.
Yeah. And it's important, like, I think the day and age that we're living in, obviously, we're all going to experience people saying negative things about us or coming up with their own idea about who they think we are and then projecting that onto us and stuff like that. But what I feel like the core of what you're saying is we need to have a lot more, or counteract that with more positive voices that are affirming the opposite of what these people are saying. And you was able to do that with your daughter. But unfortunately, that wasn't given to you. So where do you find the strength to do that? Or where did you get the wisdom to do that? Because a lot of women are still struggling because they're living in their resentment or their anger towards what the dad has done. So they can't really show up in that positive way.
I think it's through time. Time, patience. I had like little, how can I call them? I call them mums. Advice from different older women. And they helped me get through it. And then like the final stage of me like with her dad, my husband helped me through that. He helped me. Very clued on man. No nonsense. Very clued on. Yeah. So he got me through. I felt like he's calmed me down to see what's happening. Because with me, it was about rage. I'm going to do it. And now I'm just like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that emotion makes your vision blurry. You don't even know, you don't know how to show up in those moments. But let's talk about that anyway as well, because that's another reverse mindset. A lot of women who have been through certain experiences that you had would maybe come up, like start adopting the mindset of, I don't need no man, I'm independent, I'm XYZ. But you have been able to go on to accept and respect the position that you want a man to play in your life. And you're successful at it. So where does that come from?
Before, I used to have that mindset, to be honest. I had that mindset of, I don't need no man, I don't need no man to do nothing. I can do it all by myself, which I felt like I could, which I was doing. But deep down inside, I needed that love. I needed that hug. Just genuine a hug from a man. I didn't want to have sex or nothing. I just wanted, I know how to have sex. I know everything about my front. I just needed that hug. I just needed that. I needed to feel protected. I needed big arms around me. That's what I wanted. And I don't know. I gave up on men. I gave up on relationship. So when I met my husband at the time, I cast him out. Didn't want nothing to do with him. I was very rude to the guy. Very sorry, darling. Very rude to him. But he knew me. He knows me as that person. Like, my mold is not nice.
Yeah.
But he loved me same way. And yeah, he's calmed me down. I don't know. I just always say, don't give up on love. Don't ever give up. There's always something out there for you. You just got to have patience. And I think you just got to learn to love yourself. Know who you are first before you can go down that road. But that's where I kind of got it from, I think.
Yeah. And what challenges did you come up against in your marriage that were related to like your wounds of feeling fatherless? And also, did he encourage you to go back and reconnect with your dad and figure that out?
Yes, he did. I was going to say that.
Good men always do that.
My husband is a...
Sorry, guys, the music. Can you hear it? Yeah, I can hear it. Oh.
He's a parent. He loves his parents. He loves old people. He's got his mum and dad and everything. So when I told him about my family and my background and whatever, he was like, you need to... Because, I would not call my dad. I wouldn't call him, wouldn't speak to him. If you called me, you're right, Dad. That's it. I've forgiven him years ago, but I never forgot. I've forgiven him, I think, through the counselling sessions that I've had throughout all those years I've been counselling. I learned to forgive. I had to in order for you to move on, you have to learn to forgive your past. Like, forgive. Just that's the one thing you need to do. And I've forgiven my dad, just didn't forget what happened. So my husband, he helped me reach out and just, start. So like, I speak to my dad every day now. Like, yeah, right, darling. I'm like, yeah, right, daddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, I don't call it, yeah, big nose. That's what I call him, big nose. Off me the nose though with the video camera. But I love my dad to pieces. He makes me laugh. And the thing is, what kills it even more, I look like my dad, red like my dad. My dad named me after his sister, his late sister and stuff like that. So I have that, I love my daddy still. But, he's old. And then I think where he got ill, I almost lost him. You only get one dad. That woke me up. So I was like, nah, let's start getting back on this track with daddy now. So yeah, like I cook for my dad now as well. So, which is another thing. Yeah, I cook for him. He every week. So cute.
That is cute.
So cute.
And did you have any problems in terms of like attitude?
Yeah, my dad called me the fiesta girl. So I got the faceness from him, even though he said it from my mum, but I got it from him. And I'm still, like, my dad will say, I'm just putting him in his place straight away. I'm like, listen, I'm old. Yeah, I got 4 pitney, yeah? I'm married. You can't talk to me like that. That's how I said it to him straight. All right, well, I was just saying. I said, all right then, Dad, let's move on to the next conversation.
Yeah.
That's basically how it rolls. But I had tried to have a conversation. The only person I've tried to have the conversation of what happened between me and him. And he don't respect. He's not there yet.
Okay.
He ain't there yet. He laughed at it. And when he laughed, I cried. And I said, I'm not bringing this up again with him. I'm just going to leave it as it is, forgive, move on.
And I think that's a valid and important point to make, because you don't need validation in order to move past the situation or be able to forgive a situation and figure out how to move forward in a healthy way. You don't need that person, whoever inflicted that pain, to validate that pain. No. You have to do that for yourself.
You have to do it for yourself in order to move on. Yeah. Because you want to be a better person of yourself. You want to, because for me personally, I want to show my daughter, like, okay, I've been through that. I don't hate them. I told my daughter, in regards to her dad, he did what he did. Don't hate him. I don't even feel sorry for him. I just left him. I'm just there. Don't hate him. I've forgiven him. Took me a while to do that. I've forgiven him. It feels good saying that. I have forgiven him. And won't forget what's happened, because if you forget where you come from. I always say that. But it's made me a better version of myself. It's made me a stronger. But everyone's like, you're so strong. I'm like, how strong can you be? How strong can you be? Like, my back hurts, you know? But yeah, it's made me a strong person. It made me a strong, but not that I'm a strong black woman, I don't need no help. It's just made me
strong within your vulnerability.
Yeah.
That she's seen those sides of you. And that's really, I really rate that about you. I really respect that about you.
Thank you.
That you did not let any of these things define who you are, your journey, not your family, nothing.
I kept saying to myself, this person, you didn't push me out. My mum did. God brought me into this earth. So those are the two people I'm shook of. God and my mother. So yeah, I'll just leave it as that. So yeah, it is what it is. You just gotta move on. Like, right, you did what you did, innit? You got issues. I got issues. I'm dealing with my issue. Deal with yours.
Well, lastly, I don't want to ask nothing cliche, but I do want you to leave a message. But I want the message. What would you say to the daughters of domestic violence? Any girl who's grown up in a household where she's seen violence, chaos, and abuse since the day she was born?
I would say, don't hold it in. Speak about it. Speak to someone that you can trust. Find a way to release that pain. Find a way, something positive. My daughter, she did dance, she did ballet, she did beautiful ballet, she did ballet. So I would say, find something, if it's through music, if it's through dance, if it's through art, if it's through writing, do something. And then another thing I would always say, write a letter. Write a letter to that parent that was abusing the other parent. Write a letter to them and let them know how you feel. That way you've gotten it off your chest and it's on paper. You can either give it to them or you can tear it up and burn it. Do what you have to do, but get it out. Get it off your chest. It's better out than staying in. Because when it's staying in, it eats you up inside and you start believing things and thinking that's how you're supposed to be as a woman. You're supposed to be in an abusive relationship. No. That's not what it is, you know. That's what I would say. And love yourself. Love yourself and forgive. That's what I would say as well.
Ooh, girl, thank you so much
for
being here. I love you lots.
I love you more.
And I'm just so grateful to be surrounded by phenomenal women like yourself. To always give me wisdom, to always guide me, love me, nurture me, and point me in the right direction as well. And I just really want to say I'm so grateful that you're a part of my journey and that you're here, blessing the platform. It's been a long time coming.
Appreciate it, my darling.
And I hope it's not the last time.
It won't be. And I hope you invite me back again. And I would like to say I'm very, very proud of you. Like I said to you before, I'm proud of you. You brought tears. When I got home that day, I was crying. You bring tears to my eyes. When I see you're doing this project that you're doing, it's amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. Okay?
Thank you.
Love you, girl.
Love you too.
Love you, love.
I had a dad, or I have a dad. He's not dead.
Yeah.
But I don't think I felt the full effect of being a daddyless daughter until I was about 25. And it hurt me when I went to school and I saw my friends with their parents and it was a 2-parent household, or even if it was a single parent household but they co-parented effectively, I missed that. I think he tried to be. I don't think he understood what it meant to be present as a whole, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. So it wasn't without trying, but then each time he tried, he failed miserably. Worse than the last. My first experience was he was 15. And then after that, he had friends. It went from I love you to, oh my God, do me a favor, because if you don't, Mandem's going to be really upset.
Yeah, that's abuse.
Yeah, but it was just like 9 out of 10 times, I didn't actually want to do it.